Hey y'all, how you doing? It's Valerie here. And today we're doing some more seed planting. It's snowy outside like it is for much of the country right now. Well, I don't know about much of the country, but a lot of the southeast it's pretty snowy out right now, and of course we're dealing with that. And I'm going to take this opportunity to get some pepper seeds started, specifically hot peppers, because they take a little longer to germinate and some of my seeds getting old, and I know older seed can sometimes take a while to germinate. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a head start now, so I've got some decent sized plants when it's time to plant out. Also, I want to take you back and show you how those little seedlings are doing that we started, the violas and pansies and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So here are my onions. Sorry about the lights. I've got these penguins on. I hope it doesn't make it too hard to see. These ones right here in this pan are leeks, and I didn't have quite as good, they're shallots, I'm sorry, not leeks. And I didn't have quite as good germination on these, but here they are. I've got my fan turned off for now, but normally I have a fan running on these. Right there touching my fingers, a little tiny Lysianthus. I'm not too sure it's going to show up. And then we have the violas, and they are doing well. And those are the violas there. These right here are my Dichondra Silver Falls that we planted together. And these are the pansies that I planted, and they are slightly behind some of the other things because I planted them probably at least a week later. And then here was the leftover pansies that wouldn't fit in this tray. And I do have my sticky traps up there because in the seed growing area, I always inevitably end up with fungus gnats because these little Lysianthus right here that you can barely see, you got to keep them real moist until they start to come up really well, because they're so tiny that their little roots don't reach very far at first. Eventually their roots get way longer than what you would think for a tiny plant, but when they're first starting, they can be very temperamental with the water. They really need to stay moist when you're first getting them going. Just thought I would give you a little update on my seeds since we planted these together. They are up and growing, and honestly, it won't be too long before I start potting these up. But that's not for today. Now that we're back here, I'm going to go ahead and start my pepper seeds. And I did take the time. Hold on, where'd I put them? Uh-oh. Oh, there they are. I did take the time to pre-make my tags. I'm going to plant probably at least, that one is a dud. I'm not going to plant in that cell. It's broken. But I'll plant the rest of them up. I'm going to plant a couple of seeds, probably at least 3 to 4 per cell, because like I said, some of these seeds are old and they've probably starting to get lower germination. Like I've got some seeds in here that are from 2019. So I'm going to plant a couple of each of these seeds so that way I can save seeds and have some fresh seed stock, because like I said, some of these are getting really old. And I had a mishap with some of my older seeds to where they were left in a warm place on accident. So some of them probably don't have as good viability as my newer seeds that I've been really diligent on making sure that I don't accidentally leave them someplace warm, because heat will degrade the germination rates of the seeds. They don't like light or heat. That will make the seeds lose germination quicker than if they're stored properly in a cool, dark place. So I want to say anything 2022 or previous in my seed collection, I accidentally left those seeds in a very warm spot, so the germination rate on those can be poor. After I get these planted, I am going to pop them on a heat mat under my lights. In years past, I've set them near my wood burning stove, but that has a tendency to dry them out really quickly. So I did buy a heat mat, I want to say last year or the year before. And really the only thing I use it for are my pepper plants. I don't put anything else I grow on heat mats. I just put them in under my lights and let them go at it. I do have a couple other things that I want to get planted today, but we're going to get these hot pepper seeds planted first. This tray is pre-filled and pre-moistened, so it's already ready to go. I just have to get my seeds out and start planting. Some of these seed varieties I am not going to know how to pronounce. I will do my best. So the first thing I have is the Ahi Mango Stumpy, and there's no pictures or anything to show you, so I'm not going to really worry about holding up the seed packet. I will tell you that January has been a pretty rough month. We have had some really, really extremely cold temperatures, colder than what's normal for our area. And just with the days are gloomy and overcast and the days aren't very long, it makes January a tough month. But also January has the privilege of being the time where my seasonal blues start to go away, because the days actually do start to get longer and I can see the end in sight. Whereas December, it's hard to see that end to the long nights and short days. I'm just kind of turning these right side up real quick so that way it's easier for me to read. Some of them are facing down. It'll be easier for me to see which tag I need. So like I said, the first one is going to be the Ahi Mango Stumpy. And I'm going to put a couple of seeds, probably 3 to 4 seeds in each cell. And if all of them come up, I'll probably keep 2 of each plant. But there's a chance that none will come up. Let me move this over here so I'm better prepared. Okay, Ahi Mango Stumpy. I'm going to try to separate them so they're not like super close together. So if I do need to separate them, it's easier to do. I don't know if that makes sense. Instead of putting them all in one hole, they're going to each get their own separate hole. Okay, the next one I have is Chilacle Amarillo. It's spelled Chilhuacle and then Amarillo. I don't know how to say that first word. Yeah, I'm doing 4 pepper seeds per each cell, with the hopes that at least 1 to 2 plants come up. There's a chance all of them will come up. There's a chance none of them will. I'm just lightly covering them. Don't bury them too deep. As a general rule of thumb, you bury them twice the depth of the seed, unless it specifically says cover lightly or needs light to germinate. This is the Pequeño Yellow. Let's see where you are. There you are. Nope, I dropped the tag. And I put, if my seeds have any heat at all, even if it's the mildest heat, they get put in with the hot peppers. The only one I put in with my sweet peppers are the ones that have 0 heat. So, because whenever I have them sorted into, like, I have them in these little photo cases, and I have one for hot peppers and a different one for sweet peppers. So my peppers are separated by heat. And if they have even the mildest, tiniest little bit of heat, when I look them up to see what their Scoville is, I put them in with the hot peppers. And that's another thing that I do, which I haven't done. I'll have to go back and do this, is I usually write the Scoville score on the tag. So that way when I'm harvesting in the middle of summer and I've got 20 different variety of peppers, it's really easy for me to know at a glance whether they're super hot or if they're mild or, you know, that kind of thing. I forgot to do that when I was making these seeds, but I will go back and do that. And just write it on the back what the heat scale is. This one is prairie spice pepper. Prairie spice. I did bring a couple of extra seed tags just in case I lost one between now and the time that I made them, or if there was just an extra one that maybe I didn't get a tag made for. That happens sometimes too. I'll miss one. So I've got a couple extra blank tags in here in case I need it. I've made a video on this before, but I want to go ahead and give you a quick tip for these. I reuse my tags, and if you use a garden marker, you can use acetone fingernail polish remover, and it will take the writing off of these tags, which is really convenient for reusing them. I like to reuse them as long as possible. Sometimes they'll get bent out of shape, or the sun will damage them, or they get really brittle. At that point, I just throw them away. But I will reuse these many, many times. Well, as many as I can get away with. Sometimes I get 3, 4, 5 years out of them. Some of them I only get a year out of. It just literally depends on how the weather treats them and all that good stuff. For some reason, I'm having trouble getting some soil covered on that one. Just want to open a bag here. I think it would be easier just to sprinkle some soil on top than it would be to try to. I don't have my little, I have this little tool, this little dibble that makes it easy to punch holes or to put your little holes in, and I don't have it in here. So I'm just going to kind of sew them on top and then cover them with soil. The soil in this bag is still moist from where it was outside, and it's been closed up, so it hasn't dried out yet. Just put a little extra over here on the side, and then I'll use that to cover my peppers. This is a sweet banana pepper, and I know it says sweet, but these sometimes have a little bit of heat to them, and therefore they go in with my hot. Yeah, I can just set these on top of the soil here and then cover them with a little bit of the soil on the side. This will make the process easier and go a little bit quicker. All right. Yep, that's definitely the right move. This one is Pasilla Bahio pepper. Pasilla is the first word. Bahio, Bajio. And I don't know how hot these are because I didn't write down the Scoville. These little baggies are sometimes hard to get open. There. There's the tag for that one. Oh, let me cover it first. This one is Piquillo de Lodosa. First word is Piquillo, de, D-E, Lodosa, Lodosa. And it says it's got sweet, mild heat. Can't wait until it gets warm enough to start being out in my greenhouse. I start usually heating it around mid to late February. And at that point, most, if not all, of my seed starting will move out there. But until then, for this super early stuff, we're just doing it in this spare room here that I use for storage. Right now, it's just storage because when you're working on house improvements, You got to have a place to put all the stuff you have nowhere else for, because the room that you're working on needs emptied. This next pepper is a purple jalapeno pepper, and there's a ton of seeds in here. And I've had these seeds for a really long time. I got these in a seed swap, and I've grown these before. They're kind of small, but they're really good. They're really good peppers, and they've been prolific for me. They're not super small. They're just kind of smaller than, they're a tiny bit smaller than a normal jalapeno. It's not like they're super small. I don't want you to get the impression that they're tiny. This next one is called CP275 Variegated Italy. It's just a really pretty pepper, and I'm growing all of my hot peppers this year because some of my seeds are old. I think I've said that more than once. I don't have a lot of the hot peppers that I used to because I used up all the seeds and I didn't save any. So I want to make sure that I'm saving seeds this year. Even from the ones that are like newer seed, I'm still going to save seed, but especially from the ones that are older seed where I might be losing germination. Especially things, like I said, that were before 2022. Because I know I accidentally, this room right here is the room I'm talking about. I left them in here and this door got shut, and I wasn't thinking about the fact my seeds were in here. But in the summertime, if this door gets shut, it has no access to air conditioning and it gets super hot, like super hot. The next one is called Purple Flash Pepper. Let's see. I'm not quite sure when my other mic stopped working, so hopefully it didn't screw with the sound too much. But I have this other one on, and hopefully there's enough charge on it to finish this video. I've got the one that just died in there charging right now, so one of those days, but we soldier on. Okay, I've already got that planted. I've got a Thai red chili. This is Thai red chili. I just traded for these this year, so these should be fairly fresh seeds. I don't know how long the person that I had them, or the person I traded with, had them. There are guidelines on these seed swaps where you're not supposed to use really old seed, but I trust that most people do it in good faith. Seed people are usually good people, or at least in my experience. The next one is the Hungarian Magyar pepper. If I was planting them all in one hole, this would go quicker, but I am separating them so that way if I do plant them up, they're easy to separate and they're not all in one hole. I shouldn't say if, but when. This one is called Exotica Orange Pepper. It's very interesting looking. I'll just leave it at that. If these germinate and I actually get some peppers, I will show you what they look like. But until then, you can feel free to Google it. The next one is Zaupai or Sharpei pepper. Z-O-U-P-I or Sharpei, S-H-A-R-P-E-I. This is one that I traded for in 2023. And I think that this is a little bit more of a rare pepper, so I definitely want to get seeds for these so I can put them in seed swaps and spread the genetics. I've got probably enough for another year of pepper growing, possibly, depending on whether these germinate or not. And those rare ones like that, I really like to make sure I keep the genetics of. I don't know why. I mean, Doesn't really benefit me in any way. It seems a shame to lose a pepper that's a little bit harder to get your hands on. And the next one is ahi lemon drop. Now I've looked this up. I'm going to bring this to you guys. There's the lemon drop, or there's the ahi yellow. Let me see. I've got both of them here. Yeah, there's the lemon ahi and the ahi lemon drop. And I have looked on the internet to see whether these are the same or they're two different peppers, and I get a lot of mixed results. So I'm just going to grow them both so that way I can compare them. So if you see me say lemon drop pepper and you're like, well, that's the same as the ahi lemon, I was not able to find a conclusive answer on whether that's true or not. Maybe someone out there can tell me. But in the meantime, I'm going to grow both of them, and we'll just wait and see. The next one is ahi pineapple. Ahi is A-J-I. I'm getting kind of low on these seeds. I only got one seed left two seeds left if I plant 4. I'm going to save them just in case. This is why I bring extra tags, because I'm not seeing my ahi pineapple. So let's get these in here. And before I cover them, I'm going to make my tag so I don't forget which cell I'm working on. I will probably find this tag somewhere after I'm done planting, and that's fine. I'll just erase the writing off of it and start over. Okay, now that I've got that tag made, I'll cover it. This one is Black Pearl, and these were harvested in 2019. I got these in a seed tray too. I have grown these before, and if I'm not mistaken, these are grown mostly for ornament. They're an ornamental pepper. I don't know, maybe y'all can let me know if you've ever eaten them, but from what I gather, most people just grow them because they make pretty additions to flower arrangements, and they're just pretty to look at. But these are old seeds, so I'm hoping I get something and then I can save some fresh seeds. This one is called Filius Blue, F-I-L-I-U-S, blue, like the color. Now here is the ahi lemon pepper. So, and these were collected in 2021. So they're starting to get a little old at this point. And once I grow them, we will see if they're different than the ahi lemon drop. They might be the exact same thing. The internet says both things. The internet says that they're both the same, and it also says that they're completely different. And since I can't get a direct 100% answer, we're just going to proceed in growing both of them. The puppies are going off on something. There was it sounded like a truck going down the road, and they like to bark at those big old trucks, and it sounded big. The next one we have is shishito pepper, and I know that these are considered very mild, but they do sometimes have a little bit of heat. So they go in with the hot peppers. Even if it says like 0 to 100, like some of them will say like 0 to 100 on the Scoville scale, which is so very mild, they still don't make it into my, if the Scoville says it's like 100, they still go in with the hot peppers. Do I have a shishito pepper one made? I don't remember seeing it. Yes, I do. This next one is called RH Lilac, and it says they're small 2-inch fruits on beautiful green, white, purple foliage. So this is a variegated pepper. I'm almost out of these seeds as well. After I plant the 4 I'm planting today, I'll have 3 left. And these seeds are fairly old, so hopefully I get some peppers and I can once again save the genetics. Yeah, these are from 2022. Depending on when I bought these in 2022, if I bought them in the fall, there's a chance that these weren't in the hot room. But if I bought them in the spring, these were definitely left in the hot room. And that was RH Lilac, I think. Yes, RH Lilac. I sink these tags down as far as they'll go because that makes it easier for me to put the humidity dome on. You're wondering why I'm sinking them down so far. It's just so that the humidity dome isn't like sticking up once I put it on. The next one is Aji Charapita Pepper, AJI, second word, CHARAPITA. And honestly, she gave me the whole pot on this one because this was a seed trade. And so it's got a broken open pod. These little old seeds. See, that's 2. These are kind of small seeds. So I don't know how many of those seeds I have left. How many ever was in that pod? Okay. When I traded, I had 2 pods, but I'm down to 1. And I'm on my last one, which is the Hungarian yellow wax pepper. Okay, that's all my hot peppers. Now, also in with these, I'm going to go ahead and start my tomatillos. And I have this fruit that's called a Zambalo melon. And I grew it last year but didn't get any fruit. I started it kind of late, but just based on the way it grew once it got in my garden, I feel like I need to plant them a little early instead of when I plant my tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and plant that and my tomatillos. I've already got these tags made too. I'm just looking for the ones that I need. Okay, the Zambalo is spelled Tzimbalo. And this is one that one of those Baker's Creek ads got to me. The one dude was showing it and talking about how good it tasted. And so I had to get it, but they were sold out. So I went to Etsy and found seeds. And this was last year. And I grew it and the plant was right. I just didn't get any fruit because by the time it got here, it was way too late to plant these. But also based on how they grew once they actually got into my garden, I think that these need to be started quite a bit earlier than even my tomatoes. And at the very worst, I just have really big plants. Which I'm willing to pot them up and stuff if need be. Okay, that's my Zambalo. And last year I planted my tomatillos when I planted when I started my tomato seeds, and they could have used more time as well. I would have liked to have had bigger plants. I think I would have gotten more fruit. I did get some harvest off of them. I just think I would have gotten maybe a little bit earlier of a harvest had my plants been bigger when I put them in the garden, because they're slow to get started. Once they get going, they grow quick, but they're kind of slow to get started, at least in my experience. So I'm going to go ahead and start those now too, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm just putting 4 in each cell, and these ones are the green tomatillos. And if I get 4 plants, I'm probably not going to plant all 4 plants. I'll either give them away or something along those lines. Sell them. I don't really think I'm doing a seedling sale this year, though. Let me find my purple. Okay. And then the next one is my purple tomatillo. And these things are all warm weather things, and they will enjoy being on the heating pad to start, or it's not a heat, it's for seeds. It's kind of like a heating pad for seeds, but a heat mat, I guess, is what they're called when they're for seeds. Okay, and these are my purple tomatillos. And that does leave a few cells here empty. I'm okay with that. I guess I could have spread out these tomatillos and zombalo melons to just fill up the rest of the tray, but it's fine. They can just stay empty. So there's that tray. And now all I need to do is put my humidity dome on top and set it under my lights. I will do that here in a bit. I'll just move this out of the way for now. So, let's go ahead and see. I have some Dusty Miller, some ornamental, I don't know if I got enough trays. Let's see. Some leeks. We'll see. We'll just start. The first thing I want to start with are my snapdragons, though, in my stock. Well, these ones. If I don't have enough trays, then I will just come back later and... You know what? I have these lemongrass seeds, and they do like to be grown in the warm. So I think I might just go ahead and put... Let me find the thing. Lemongrass. I think I'll put some of these seeds in. Oh gosh. I tried to be organized. I think I'm just going to put some of these lemongrass seeds in some of these extra cells that I have, since they do like to be warm. And I'm going to put, I'll probably just fill up like the rest of this row with lemongrass. They'll still leave some empty cells, but I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them in there. There'll probably be more than one per cell, because I'm just going to, these are some that someone saved, so there's chaff with it, which is just the leftover plant material. So I'm just kind of taking it and sprinkling it on top of these cells. And then that way they can go up on the heat mat, because I do know that these like warmth to germinate. Though I will say, even though they like warmth to germinate, I have winter sowed these before. And you know what? I don't know if they need light. I just covered them. If they need light, hopefully they'll still work. If not, I'll just plant some more a little bit later in the season. Okay, let me put some vermiculite on that. Make sure some of those ones didn't get very much. Okay. Now I think I'm done with this tray. Alright. These right here are actually microgreen sprout trays. But I like using these. The ones I've got come with domes. And I really like using these to mass sow seedlings, and then I'll take them later and pop them up. They can stay in this quite a while for a lot of plants like my snapdragons. They'll be able to stay in this tray for quite a while before I have to pot them up. And shoot. I'm just going to put it in here to fill it up with soil, so that way if I spill the soil, sorry I kicked you, it goes in the tray. And I can too much. I really need a better setup for seed starting this stuff that I have to do inside whenever my greenhouse isn't up yet. And I know the snapdragons need light. And I'm literally just sprinkling the whole thing. These also like to grow in the cool. Some stuck to the side. I'm going to move those around because I have the feeling that they all went to the same little area on accident. And these are the day and night snapdragons. They are just going to tear it. I don't have any seeds left to save, so I just want to tear that open. Find my tag. These are, like I said, the day and night snapdragons. Let me go ahead and just set my tags over here like I did for the last. This will make it easier. These are my spare ones. I really tried to be all organized and oh, this is going to go so smoothly. I don't see the tag for this one either, so either I've lost it or I didn't make one, but that's okay. I'll just make one real quick. And when I put them in these trays, I usually kind of set it on its side so it doesn't interfere with the dome. So I keep this package so I like to write down everything that I plant on the day I plant it, so I'll keep that package. Once I have it written down that I planted, I'll toss it. Let's go with another tray. I'm trying not to make a mess, but despite my best efforts, it's happening. I have one of those, it folds up, and it snaps on the sides, but it's something to where you can do all your soil in. I don't know what they're called, a planting, I don't know. Anyways, you can put all your stuff in there and the soil falls on the mat and then you can just dump it back into your bag. But I don't know what I've done with that. This one is called Kilauea Mixed Snapdragon. Kilauea. I don't know how you say that. This is another one that there's a lot of seeds in here. I'm planting them all. I'm not saving any of them. I want to dump them out in my hands this time, and hopefully I can kind of just sprinkle them about a little better. And of course, whenever these start to get bigger, I will have to pot them up. By that time, I should have my greenhouse open, turned on, being heated, and it should be fine. The reason I'm starting these now is because these are a cool weather plant, and they can be put outside 4 to 6 weeks before my last frost, as long as they're hardened off correctly. Apple Blossom Snapdragon. Once again, just kind of planting them all. I want to dump them in my hand so I can sprinkle them. Sprinkle them like salt, pepper, whatever. Where they don't all end up in one corner or near. The next thing I'm planting is Apple Blossom Stock. Put it to the side and now it's lost. And these are another cool flower that can be planted out before the frost. It does say that they need light to germinate, so just barely press them into the soil. I will put vermiculite on these as well. I just keep forgetting before I before I put them under my lights. And here is the last one that I have on me. So I'm going to go ahead and plant these leeks. These are American flag leeks. I had some old leek seed that I planted, and only one came up. Like literally one. Not one type, one single plant. So I got some fresh seed for this, and I'm going to go ahead and get this started. We'll save the rest of those for next year. So that's the American flag leek, and that's all the trays that I brought in with me. I have these pots. There's only 75 seeds. I'm going to go ahead and fill these pots, and we'll just mass sow some of these other things in these pots instead of in those other trays. And once again, I know that these will have to be they'll have to be potted up. When I'm filling up pots like this, I just stick it down in the bag and fill it up so it doesn't get everywhere. Let's go ahead and fill up a few of these, and then we'll get some more stuff planted. Oh, having trouble getting comfortable all of a sudden. So the first thing we're going to plant is this ornamental twister grass, and it says to barely cover. Oh yeah, those are some little seeds. These are pelleted seeds as well. So I already have some of this growing. I really like it, so I want to grow more. It says to barely cover, so I will just leave that and put vermiculite on top. The next thing I have is this Dusty Miller. And it says start indoors, blah, blah, blah. So surface sow. There's several seeds in here. I really like Dusty Miller. Paid a lot more for way less seeds last year. I got these from Pine Tree Garden Seeds. And what did I say? Surface sow, so we'll just cover those with vermiculite. Let me get my tag here. It's just Dusty Miller. This is just the old-fashioned variety with the fern-like leaves, which are my favorite. I know everyone likes the new look, but they look kind of like lamb's ear to me, and I really like lamb's ear, but I've already got lamb's ear growing, so I prefer the one with the ferny lobed, I guess that's what you'd call it, leaves. So those need a baggie. Just trying to look at all my packages here to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Actually, I think that I filled up exactly enough pots for the rest of the stuff that not winter sowing. This is some dark Italian parsley, and they like to grow in cool weather, but I'm just planting all these because these seeds are from 2021, and I don't know how long they stay viable. So, and I don't know, I didn't look up whether I'm supposed to cover them or not, so I'm just going to barely cover them. And hopefully I'm doing the right thing. They're kind of bigger seeds, so I don't know if that makes a difference. Another one that I don't necessarily see my tag for, and I know I made one. I remember making it specifically. I want to find all these tags after I'm done. Italian parsley. And then the last thing I have are these carnations, Shabad Giant mixed colors. And it doesn't really have any special instructions. I know that dianthus are a cool weather plant as well, so they can be put out before the frost. I'm just going to, even though this is quite a large pack, there's a lot of seeds in here. I think that actually, seeing as how many seeds there are, we're going to do these in 2 pots. I was going to say I'm going to do them all in 1 pot, but I think we should probably better do these in 2 pots, because there are a lot of seeds in this pack, and I just got these from Walmart. That's going to be a lot of carnations if they all come up, and I'm here for it. I don't know if you're supposed to cover these either, but there's no special growing instructions on the package, so I will have to make another tag for that because I only made 1 tag. I'm going to be lazy and just write carnation instead of the whole name. On the other one, I've got the complete name. Okay, so there are those. And now for my last few seeds, I am going to winter sow into some baggies. And I have 4 things here, so I'm going to fill up these baggies real quick. Let's move these out of the way so I can use my tray. I'll set these right here for now. If I didn't. I'm going to move this down here to fill these up. And I'm going to plant these, and then as soon as I'm done, these will go outside. Don't have very much soil left in this bag, so we're just going to dump it all in. I will not delay more than 10-15 minutes on getting these outside once I'm done, because I don't want them to be in my house even 24 hours. I want them to go out so that way that they can stay cold. And all of these plants I've either winter sown before, or it says it needs cold stratification. So when something says cold stratification, my go-to way of planting them is to just winter sow them. It's so much easier for me, because every time I've tried to do putting them in the refrigerator method, something happens, I forget about them, or if I don't forget about them, it just hasn't worked for me. I just have really good luck with winter sowing things that say that they need winter or cold stratification. Perennials, I will often winter sow, even if it doesn't say it needs cold stratification, because I just have really good success. Another one I have high success rate with is lavender. Previous to discovering winter sowing, I was never successful with growing lavender, starting lavender from seed. But since I have discovered winter sowing, every single lavender that I have tried to grow, I've had germination with. So, and it's kind of hands off, so that makes it preferable too. I'm just going to fill up all 4 of these bags, and then we will plant them. I'm making a bigger mess than what I would like to be making right now. I'm just glad I had enough soil, because I went out to grab soil earlier today and my greenhouse is frozen shut because that pot is frozen to the ground that's in front of my doors. The doors themselves aren't frozen, but I can't move the pot. I even tried kicking it. And then my big old pile of soil is all frozen together, so I couldn't get any of those to move either. And this is my last bag of potting soil that I have in the house, so as soon as this melts, I'm going to have to go out there and grab some soil to bring in. Okay, the last things that I'm winter sowing. Not the last things I'm winter sowing, the last things I'm planting today. So I've already gotten the name written on the bags and I've got tags made. But one of the things is lime balm. I'm just surface sowing these. You're supposed to surface sow everything when it comes to winter sowing. Or at least everything I've read says that. Lime balm. And even though I have it written on the bag, I still put my tag in. And I'm going to close it most of the way. And then I'll get a stake or a clothes hanger or a clothespin to keep that propped open. Move that one out of the way since it's done. I've got a few of these mandarina lemon balm, and this smells like orange. There's only a few seeds left in here, but they're getting old at this point. And though I do have some growing in my garden already, I would like to... There's a camp out I'm going to in April, and I would like to take some plants to give away and just share. And this mandarina lemon balm is one that I would like to share. And I don't know if the plants in my garden will have quite enough growth to get starts from those yet. So we're just going to start some new ones and use up these seeds. And there's not enough seeds in here to like go in a seed swap or anything. So make sure I get all of them out. There's that one. Is there more? I don't know. I've gotten dirt on the inside of the baggie, so now I can't tell if those are more seeds or if it's dirt. I think that there's a couple tiny more seeds in there, because these seeds are very small. I want to get them all. Okay, the next one is toad flax. Some people call these baby snapdragons, and I got this one package here where there's some in it, and these seeds are pretty old. They're from 2020. And then I've got some fresh seeds that I just bought this year, and I'm just going to mix them together and winter sow them all in the same container, even though it's old and new seed. These ones do say that they require stratification, so we're going to put those out now. And I have winter sowed these before. The ones I got in 2020, I winter sowed those and they did great. And then we're just going to plant the rest of these in this bag, and hopefully between the two, we have some toad flax. They're really pretty. Okay. And put this tag in there. And then the last thing is this Alstroemeria Lig 2 hybrids, and it's a, is it Peruvian lily? But they say they need cold stratification as well. So, and I've only got there's only 8 seeds in this, so there's not a lot. But hopefully, if they do well, I can save some seed and do my own. They'll be different colors because it's a hybrid, but that's all of those. Let's put these down. Okay, that's all that that's left to do for me, except for taking these and putting them outside, and then putting some vermiculite on this other stuff that I started and getting those under lights. Even though everything's all snow covered, we're just going to take these bags that I winter sowed and put them in the yard. You can't really see the other ones. I just used some clothespins to prop them over. We're just going to set them here in the snow. And then as the snow melts, they will be on the ground with the rest of them. 4 more bags, winter sown. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I plant these seeds. I know this time of year, this kind of thing can become repetitive. But this is literally what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing every day. Well, not every day. This is what I'm doing when I'm working on gardening stuff. It's just heavy seed starting season. And I'm sure I will have more videos where I'm starting more seeds. And that's just the name of the game. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. And I will see you next time. Bye.